few examples of real-world use cases. I'll explain why blockchain is essential for the fourth industrial revolution, and specifically for building a more open, inclusive, and fair economies. You know, after every winter comes spring. Snow melts and flowers emerge. How many of you think that we'll finally see the spring coming? Please raise your hands. I can see that some of you, or many of you, agree. So when I first heard about the technology, I had doubts and concerns whether this technology can deliver and provide these great benefits. And the deeper I got, the more convinced I became that this technology held the potential to become a big deal and to disrupt many of the industries as we know today. A few words about myself. My name is Ron Langer, and I'm the Chief Investment Officer of Nielsen Innovate Fund. I was born in Israel, and I've been working in the high-tech industry for more than 20 years. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I've been working for a while to establish and manage startup companies and held a variety of senior positions in private and public companies. Used to be the CEO of Vocaltech, the pioneer of voice over IP, building products for Variant, a provider of security solutions, selling for law enforcement agencies and service providers, BizDev for Red Vision, we're acquired by Avaya, founder of Salesline, GM for Fortnox, and more. I've been working for the last few years for some super interesting projects as an investor and advisor. A few words about Nielsen Innovate Fund. We are an Israeli incubator and investment fund focused on early-stage startup. We invest in four main verticals: retail, media, marketing, and research technologies, although we've invested in fintech, HR tech, and more. We've been around since 2013, and we are backed by the Israeli Innovation Authority. Till now, we've invested in 29 companies with 3 exits with nice returns to our LP. One of them was acquired directly by Nielsen. We build companies from the ground up and work hands-on with our entrepreneurs. We seek for entrepreneurs who dare to dream and wish to address real challenges with disruptive ideas and technologies. We work closely with the entrepreneurs, and they sit and work at our offices for 18 months. And basically, our team becomes an extension of their team and helps them with everything they need, from technology, design architecture, product definition, product market fit, go-to-market, sales and marketing strategies, commercialization and scaling up, basically everything. And on top, we have Nielsen Global team who are ready to help our companies, and of course, Nielsen Global partners and friends. So, is the blockchain spring finally approaching? We've entered the second era of the internet of value, where people can do all types of transactions without a middleman or any other intermediaries, in a peer-to-peer manner at the internet speed. You know, the underlying technology is, of course, the blockchain that enables us to trust each other and transact. When talking about blockchain, many people usually think about its implications and applications in the future. Will you do this, will you do that, and so forth. But practically, there are many blockchain applications that are already implemented and deployed widely. Pick an industry, from retail to media, to marketing, to supply chains, to cyber, to automobile, and so forth. And the odds are to find applications with fun examples of blockchain in action. According to the World Economic Forum, to put things in perspective, 10% of the global GDP will be stored on the blockchain by 2025. This is huge. And it means that global executives are already preparing themselves for this drastic shift. According to Gartner, the impact of blockchain in terms of added business value will be $176 billion by 2025 and more than $3 trillion by 2030. These are huge numbers. And I think that the impact of DLT, the distributed ledger technology, could be as big as or even bigger than the internet revolution itself. So where are we in terms of the current state of the blockchain market? We all remember 2017, the year of awareness, the year of ICO, and the crypto boom. There were lots of debates regarding the technology, what it can do for that, and the potential impact. 2018 2018 was a year of disappointment. As mentioned earlier, everything collapsed. And lots of pilots and trials were conducted by small and large players in order to fill the ground and play with the technology. Some of them understood the potential impact of the technology, and some of them just due to FOMO, first of missing out, exactly like consumers. What's interesting is the following. 2019 is the year of pilots, the year of initial realization, year of enterprise commercialization. There are many solutions like global players for real-world use cases that are running there. And joining them on a weekly basis, additional global players. So where are we in terms of technology life cycle? According to Gartner, the third phase is through the disillusion, following the hype, then the disappointment, and of course the realism. As you can see here, 2017, 2018, and now around here, 2019. According to Gartner, the blockchain will reach its maturity within 5 to 10 years. So what have changed? What have changed from the last 1 or 2 years? I think 3 main things. First of all, there was too much hype around the crypto economy. About the idea that every company should have its own token. Now we see much more focus and many solutions that are with clear understanding what's the key benefits of the technology. And as perceived by the enterprises, there are 5 key benefits. 1, new business models. The second is to increase security, to increase speed, to increase transparency, and then to reduce cost. These are the 5 main benefits of the technology as perceived by the enterprises. Second, there was too much focus on technologies, on creating technologies instead of building solutions for real-world use cases with the right ingredients to succeed. And lastly, lack of focus on product market fit, validating that there is a real market, there is a real need, ease of use, and potential to scale up. So as said, we've entered the second era of the internet, and business leaders, I guess, need to understand what it means and how to transform their businesses accordingly. For the last few decades, we have had the internet of information, where we can send and transfer information to each other, whether it's files, messages, voice messages, photos, videos, and so forth. Basically information. We send a copy of the information and we keep the original for ourselves. This is great for information. It basically revolutionizes the whole way we communicate. When it comes to assets, things of value, like money, like bonds, like real estate, art, music, loyalty programs, like my friend Eyal that mentioned earlier, and he's promoting this with Momentum protocol. Sending a copy is not a good idea, right? Sending a copy, I guess most of you won't be willing to get a copy of money or asset you should be receiving, right? So the whole idea is to transfer the rights of the asset. And in order to do that, you need trust. So it's all about trust, getting trust in the technology, the way it was designed, its architecture, its automatic algorithms, and so forth. And by adding smart contract logics for transactions to occur, you basically can enable the existence of the autonomous economies. And how this is relevant. We've all heard about the great technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. 5G, Internet of Things, drone and robotics, AI and machine learning, AR, VR, 4D printing, and many more. So how this is relevant? Do you know what is the common denominator of these technologies? It's basically software. Each of them is running software and data. A huge amount of data that is being generated by these technologies. So it's all about trust. There are 2 major issues. How can we trust the execution of this software in a trusted manner? And how can we trust the data that is being generated and consumed by these applications? The solution for that, for the trust, is of course the blockchain. It will enable an effective fusion of these great technologies. It will enable to gain trust between competing parties, to to build incentive mechanism for cost-sharing and co-working. And lastly, the building blocks for business automation logic for things to occur without the centrally managed organizations. So blockchain is everywhere. You can find it in almost every industry, vertical, and segment. One of the key benefits, of course, is to remove middlemen and the cost of, or removing intermediaries, of course, and the cost of middlemen. You can find it in automobile, and advertising, and banking, and data monetization. This is actually a great use case, how we can use the blockchain to help us monetize on our own data. And of course, energy, and education, and finance, and government. Many governments have already started to store public records on decentralized data management platforms for real estate, for education, for healthcare, and so forth. So there's a great service by the Swiss government that enables Zug citizens to prove their residency with decentralized identity and use all types of government services, and even online voting. So imagine we wouldn't have to display our government proof each and every time we'll need to prove our identity. No more papers, no more fees, no more waiting lines, and so forth. Healthcare, human resources, insurance, loyalty program, many industries and examples and applications. So let's take two examples and see how blockchain can help. How blockchain can help us to monetize our own data. As you know, all the free services and data, or at least most of this, is not really free. We are paying with our own data. Giants like Google, Amazon, Facebook, and many more are using our data. They are tracking our online behavior and sell this data to advertisers. This is a huge market. What if we could have a piece of this pie? What if we could get rewards? We could get rewards for each and every time advertisers make use of our own data. Or even more, imagine a whole new paradigm that we watch TV, we surf the web, and we get rewards for our willingness to share data with advertisers. So how can blockchain help? By implementing a decentralized data management platform with contribution reward mechanism, we can ensure that each and every time that advertisers use our data, we will be rewarded. Actually, recently, Brave Browser launched their new advertising platform, and they plan to give 30% of the ad revenue share to their users. Another example is in the world of fintech and invoice factoring. As you know, businesses, and especially small ones, require invoice factoring as a struggle to survive and stay afloat with cash flow challenges. And small businesses are in constant need for liquidity, which is under-delivered, under-provided by banks and others due to the credit risks. Take, for example, a farmer who works with Walmart and cannot afford waiting 30, 60, 90 days for the payment to be received. This is only one example out of many examples in a variety of industries, like transportation, HR, IT services, legal, and many more. So how can we use the blockchain to reduce risk of double use of the invoice and other forms of abuse? How can we use the blockchain to reduce the friction of getting back the loan? So by tokenizing the invoice as a non-fungible asset on the ledger, we can ensure that no more fraud will be there. We can use smart contracts to automate the whole payment process and ensure that loan will be paid as soon as the farmer, in our example, gets the payment from Walmart. So it's a great win-win-win ecosystem for the seller, for the buyer, and for the lender. And here, blockchain enables us to bridge the gap to an untapped $1.5 trillion of SME invoice factoring. We recently invested in a company that does exactly that. So even from an investment point of view, we see a significant increase in investment. More than $1 billion has been invested from the beginning of this year, overtaking the whole 2017 investments. And even corporate VC has doubled if you compare this to 2017. So there is a lot of good news coming from the VCs and corporate VCs regarding the potential of this technology. Lastly, we've seen that blockchain is everywhere, blockchain is here to stay, and there is a key question that many of us would like to know about more, which is how should we invest in blockchain to increase our probability to succeed and to ensure that we gain significant return on our investment. So there's three main components. One relates to we need to have a well-defined investment ethos in what to invest, how to invest, and basically how to evaluate opportunities. There is a huge difference between traditional investments and blockchain investments. The technology is different. The legal or the environment is different as well in terms of the regulations. Regulations are different. The whole ecosystem attributes are different. The business model, the incentive model, the tokenization model, everything is basically different. The second thing is, of course, value creation model. We have to have the whole platform to support the company in order to increase their probabilities to succeed, from inception to success. And lastly, risk mitigation. To have a well-defined plan how to assess and how to mitigate risks on an ongoing basis. So to conclude, we need to think differently, we need to analyze differently,